We are very, very privileged today to have some amazing CEOs. And the thesis behind today is to really develop the future perspectives from these CEOs as we look into 2022 and beyond. And it's really critical to be able to have introspection and reflection at this difficult time. So this is why we've got this cross-fertilization. On the one hand, we have the large enterprise people, Microsoft, and the lead for the enterprise area, Naeem Yazbek, is going to be with us. And he's going to talk about how large industries are looking at. Exactly the same with Javi Anglada, who's also at Accenture, looking at large corporations. We have Peter Middlebrook, who's joining us from Greece, I believe. And he's a global macroeconomist, and he's also going to be looking at what he does in terms of advising countries and so on. Then we have what I would call the insurgent and the challenger CEOs, Fahmi Shawa, Thea, and Mona. And they are disrupting in the environments. They're creating new business models. They're driving businesses through. And that tension between the two elements here in terms of thought leadership is critically important. Without further ado, what I'm going to do is share a few slides with you just to sort of get the show on the road and let people join in, and we take it from there. So the idea here is to share my perspective as a futurist in terms of where the world is going. So I think the future readiness that we'd like to see is effectively like skydiving, because it is dangerous, but we can do it. It needs collaboration and moving forward. The world is way faster than we think. And in this fast world, we either reinvent ourselves, innovate ourselves, or we really die. My professor, Marshall Goldsmith, he's also my mentor and coach. He wrote this amazing book ages ago, which is still evergreen, which is What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So our accounting degree, our engineering degree, etc., got us here. But what we need to do is into the future is really critical. This beautiful coral reef gives us harmony and peace. And what I want to do is use this as a backdrop for the world that we are living in, because in this environment, we need to build trust. Trust is one of the key threads that will be there throughout this conversation. Ethics and empathy are very close partners with trust. In this world that we're living in, truth and values become critical, because we need to be able to understand the absolute objective truth, and that's the single source of truth as it comes through. Some of the key drivers we look at and we're looking at this point in time is transformation is moving from decades down to months and sometimes even weeks. The organizational dynamics are shifting. We need to balance innovation and risk. And while we're doing this, globalization has happened, digitization is happening. Now we're going to dispersion. And this is something we'll talk about today. Organizationally, from vertical to horizontal to hybrid, all of this is happening. And we're looking at new organizations. So my quote that I put in there is the change before you have to is a way better option than to change because you have to. So a couple of thoughts. This is one of my favorite slides. Over the last 15, 18 months, what used to take decades is now happening in months, whether it's e-commerce, telemedicine, remote working, learning, all of these areas are really changing. So future readiness is the key behind that. Now, when we look at scenario planning for COVID, the first 12 months has happened. We needed to have resilience and recovery there. We're in our second phase now, where we're looking at resourcefulness, collaboration, innovation, and so on. And moving forward, we're looking towards radical reinvention. So the same session, if we were going to do in 12 months' time, would be about radical reinnovation. Interestingly enough, this is a study which we picked up different information from two studies from Deloitte and Accenture, where 64% of companies have no program in place at this point in time to build the skills and capabilities required for the future. And only 3 to 5% have actually done a digitization program. All the industries we're talking about are being disrupted, and some more so, which had been resisting for the last few years because of COVID, have changed. Final couple of slides. These exponential technologies that we have, they are now both intersecting and accelerating simultaneously. So they are creating what we call Gutenberg moments. And when in 1451, Johannes Gutenberg came out with the printing press, everything changed. Religion changed, education changed, commerce changed, everything changed. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 20 Gutenberg moments happening simultaneously. And that is creating a new dynamic which the world has never seen before. And this is part of the discussion we need to be having today. The whole phrase exponential is by definition, as a formula, is acceleration is accelerating. And that acceleration is creating abundance, whether it's in computation, capital, technology, time, all aspects around us are becoming ubiquitous and accelerating. And this is the key thing, but it's creating abundance. And that's something we need to look at. This young man is my reverse mentor. He's now 11 years old. And by the time he gets to college, this is what's going to happen to computing power and drones and brain imaging and genome editing and so on. Literally in 6 years from today. Are we ready for this? That would be my question. My final slide is that when new projects come in, when new things happen, our personal and corporate immune system starts clicking in. So if we want to replace our kidney, for example, we need to give it immunosuppressants first before we can replace the kidney. Are we doing that enough? This is our big villain, our internal immune system in organizations and so on. So as we move forward, when we get hit from unexpected places, and all of the changes that are happening. And I wanted to use this particular image in the spirit of Euro that's going on right now, but it's painful, but this is what's happening. And this is where a lot of the companies are. So basically, I wanted to share these slides essentially to give you an idea as a backdrop of what's going on as far as the world is concerned.